As you know, heavy rains and multiple rounds of severe weather occurred over much of Kentucky, southwest Missouri, southern Illinois, and southern Indiana over the weekend. We are preparing for two threats. First, this weather pattern is expected to continue for the next several days. As a result, sharp rises have occurred on the minor rivers and tributaries across most of the Commonwealth. Minor to moderate flooding is expected on these water courses, and we obviously will have the potential for flash flooding at various points in Kentucky. That's impossible to predict right now as to whether that will occur or where it will occur, but we certainly expect that if this weather continues, we will have some flash flooding in various parts of Kentucky. Second threat, the Ohio and Mississippi rivers are forecast to have major flooding with the possibility of historic flooding along the rivers from the Kentucky-Tennessee line on the Mississippi through the Cairo confluences and all the way up the Ohio River to Smithland, Kentucky. Moderate flooding on the Ohio is expected from Smithland on upstream, possibly to Louisville, and then also possibly on up into northern Kentucky around the Cincinnati area. Therefore, today I have issued a declaration of emergency for the Commonwealth of Kentucky in order to make our citizens and local officials have all of the help they need to prepare and respond to these storms. This declaration opens up the pipelines and the purse strings to enable us to get resources to where they are needed as quickly as possible. In addition, all of state government has been mobilized to assist Kentuckians in need. Specifically, this declaration does the following. It orders the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management to coordinate all response and relief activities. It authorizes the Adjutant General to call up any personnel he sees essential to prevent damage to Kentuckians' property and to their lives and health. It directs the Finance Cabinet to fund any associated urgent operation and response cost to the state. It authorizes the Division of Emergency Management to request any needed federal assistance that is available. It orders the Division of Emergency Management to consult with the American Red Cross and local officials to determine shelter needs. It allows the state to restrict or limit access to any public roadways for the health and safety of the public. And it directs the Kentucky Community Crisis Response Board to activate their network of trained counselors to provide crisis response services to citizens in the affected areas. We are also prepared to assist Kentucky farmers and consumers. My office has already been in contact with the United States Department of Agriculture, and if the flooding that we expect causes damage to agricultural lands in any significant way, we will be requesting a disaster declaration of the U.S. Department of Agriculture to assist our farm community. In addition, my office has conferred with the Office of Attorney General Jack Conway, and as a result of those conversations, we will be issuing an order to prevent price gouging shortly. As you all know, that procedure empowers the Attorney General to go after price gougers during emergencies such as the one that we will be experiencing. In support of the ongoing severe weather threat, Kentucky Emergency Management has activated the Commonwealth Emergency Operations Center at Level 2. Another weather system is approaching the Commonwealth, bringing the threat of additional heavy rains and the possibility of severe weather through Wednesday. Additional personnel from KYEM, the emergency management folks, and the Kentucky National Guard are now on CEOC duty monitoring the developing situation and fulfilling all requests for assistance. Written disaster declarations have been received for the city of Bardwell, as well as Carlisle, Fulton, Hickman, Spencer, and Livingston counties. Verbal declarations have been received by Ballard and McCracken counties. More are expected as these storms continue. The National Weather Service offices in Kentucky have been in communication with emergency officials across the Commonwealth, discussing this situation and the potential threat of high wind, large hail, heavy rain, and possibly tornadoes. Emergency management officials in turn have maintained direct communication with the governor's office. We in turn have been in constant contact with the county officials, the emergency officials in the counties that are most likely to be affected on an hourly and a daily basis to make sure of, number one, what is going on, and number two, what assistance, if any, they need. The Kentucky Department of Public Health and local health departments across the state are prepared to provide support to response efforts as needed. The Department of Public Health also wants to remind Kentuckians that contact with flood waters should be avoided whenever possible, as they may contain contaminants that could pose health hazards. Homeowners whose homes sustain water damage are also urged to follow safety recommendations to limit mold damage and ensure proper food handling and storage. More detailed health and safety guidelines can be found at the Health Alerts website. That's healthalerts.ky.gov. The Transportation Cabinet is providing equipment like pumps, dump trucks, and sandbagging machines to counties who have requested them. Crews are also patrolling flood-prone areas, and they are ready to respond to additional flooding. They'll also respond to calls about flooded roads that come in from law enforcement or the public at large. Emergency officials encourage individuals to use the NOAA weather alert radios and stay tuned to local media for weather updates and flood information. Should you encounter a downed power line, do not approach it. Call your utility provider. Should you encounter water over a flooded roadway, follow the simple precaution: stop, turn around, don't drown. It takes only 6 inches of moving water to sweep a person off their feet. It takes just 2 feet of rushing water to sweep away a full-size SUV. Weather and safety tips and weather alerts by county can be found on the emergency management website at kym.ky.gov. Please follow the instructions from your local emergency management officials. No trip is worth taking the risk through a flooded roadway.